This is the oldest purpose-built synagogue in Wales, and therefore it's got a very special value above and beyond the architecture, I think.
It was opened with many of the faith leaders from other churches and chapels, so the established church and the non-established church. Many of them were invited here, and that went on for many years afterwards. You know, the prominent members of this congregation, some of that I remember as a child, they were just part of the community. People, of course, thought of them as Jewish, but they thought them as, Merthyr men and Merthyr women.
During the Industrial Revolution, Merthyr was the Klondike of its era, where people came all over from Europe and further afield to come here for work. So, and a big part of that was the Jewish community. At one time, there were 200 Jewish families living in Merthyr Tydfil.
They were professional tradespeople serving the wider population of a relatively well-off Merthyr enclave of people who wanted watches, clocks, jewellery, professional services such as accountants, solicitors. It was a reflection of retail Merthyr Tydfil in its glory days, certainly up to the Great War, 1914, and through the 1950s and 1960s.
I was just walking into town the other day because my office is just down the bottom of the hill here, and there was two women and they were talking about it, and one of the women said, "Oh, it's great to see something happening to the synagogue at last. I understand they're going to put a Jewish museum or something in there." And it was a very kind of upbeat conversation from two quite elderly women who obviously liked the building, understood about the history of the town, and recognised the importance of saving it.
We would always argue that it's much more cost effective by investing in historic buildings rather than building a new. Certainly from an environmental perspective as well, you've got all that carbon captured 150, 200 years ago as well, or more recent. So from an environmental perspective, we can make that case now rather than new build. And actually, these buildings are part of the identity of an area as well. So people might never have stepped inside it, but they see it every day. It's in their consciousness, but they don't really recognise that.
It would be a crime if this building was left to demolish, because it's an icon, this building, iconic, very iconic, and was built by poor people's money every week or every month, and it would be a shame for their memory to be lost.